Hello, welcome back to the Conservative Justice Podcast, episode number 2. This episode will be talking about not only Christian persecution, but also political. We've seen a lot of stuff come out of out of persecution because of this. Right, this is one of the biggest things that we get persecuted on, and it has every single answer that anyone will ever need. And just because someone is not willing to accept that does not mean that they should kill us. That's what happened in the past month with Charlie. Hope he rests in peace. I feel like I'm going to talk about a lot about him in these next couple of episodes. And I just want to say in advance, I apologize for the noise in the background. If you guys can hear, my sister's dyeing her hair in the bathroom that's right behind me, and I have my 4-year-old little brother just blabbering away, and it's fine. It's fine, really. I would go somewhere else, but I have nowhere else to go. I'm quite literally inside my closet with a whole bunch of clothes just hanging next to me there. But anyway, so yeah, I want to apologize for that in advance. Email for any tips, I'm not going to expose my age, only because YouTube is not going to like that. But I'm only this many years old, 1-4, not 1-5. I'm just going to say it. I'm 14. Okay. But yeah, there's only so many places I can go. I can't even accept donations because I'm 14 and I'm not 18 yet. But if you feel that you have a spot in your heart to give, ask that you give to one of two places, and that is your local church or your or my favorite, Turning Point Faith or Turning Point USA. Just I want you guys to help Erica out with her children. And not growing up, she's already grown up. She knows a lot, actually. But I ask that you donate to Turning Point USA, where she is the current CEO. Now that we got that out of the way, I'm going to talk about persecution. This is going to be only about 15 more minutes, 15, 20, somewhere around there. My last episode was an hour and 10 minutes or something. So yeah, I just want to say that. I know nobody is watching at the moment because this is only my second episode ever, and yeah, I'm not doing so hot. Yeah. Anyway, let's get into some of the biblical examples of persecution. So this was my father's. Unfortunately, when I was only at the age of 2 years old, he had passed away due to a brain aneurysm when he went to use the facilities. Let's just say that. I never grew up with. I never actually got to know him as my father. My stepdad just stepped in right there, and he's been blessing. He's been blessing us a lot, and I'm very thankful for that. And I'm very thankful that God has placed him in my life. Without further ado, let's jump into the book of Acts. So there are obviously a lot of examples of persecution, whether it's in the church or it's in just Christianity in general. The obvious, Saul and stoning of Stephen. And by the way, this is a parallel version. So I got the Living Bible on one side and the King James on the other. So I mean that's pretty nice. I don't have titles in this Bible. This Bible belonged to my father. So I mean, it's gonna take a little bit to find where I want to get to. And this shows in the stoning of Stephen that because he was martyred for his faith, so was 11 of the other 12 apostles, except for John, who died of natural causes, not natural causes. He passed away of natural causes when he was old enough. That was oh, there we go. So all right. So I'm gonna read all of Acts chapter 7. Maybe not, because it's like a lot of verses. Yeah, so yeah, no, I'm not gonna read all of that. There's a lot of verses, about 60 of them. I'm gonna read you know what, screw it, I'll go for it. And this, I'm reading the New Living Bible, or the Living Bible. Then the high priest asked him, "Are these accusations true?" This was Stephen's lengthy reply. "The glorious God appeared to our ancestor Abraham in Iraq before he moved to Syria." And these is, I don't know exactly what he said. Oh, King James. And he said, "Men, brethren, and fathers, hearken. The God of glory, not the God of gory." Well, actually, not be a great title unless you're a demon. The God of glory appeared unto our father Abraham when he was in Mesopotamia, which is modern day Iraq, before he dwelt in Sharon, which is modern day Syria, and told him to leave his native land to say goodbye to his relatives and start out for a country that God would direct him to. So he left the land of the Chaldeans and lived in I don't know if it's Haran or Haran. I'm going to say Haran, and lived in Haran and Syria until his father died. Then God brought him here to the land of Israel, but gave him no property of his own, not one little tract of land. All right, so we're already seeing Stephen. We're already seeing him be somewhat persecuted. It was a priest that asked him, is what happened in the end of Acts chapter 6 true? Is what these people are? Is what they are saying true? And Stephen replies with, he did not reply with He said, "Glorious God appeared to our ancestor Abraham in Iraq before he moved to Syria." Basically, what he said was, God appeared before Abraham before he lived in Syria, which was where he lived in Iraq. And God told him to leave where he was and to say goodbye to his ancestors and people who he lived with, stuff like that. And then he moved to Iraq, where he stayed until his father died. And then God brought him to Israel, but gave him no land. All right, now starting back at midway through verse 5. However, God promised that eventually the whole country would belong to him and his descendants, though as yet he had no children. But God also told him that these descendants of his would leave the land and live in a foreign country and there become slaves for 400 years. But I will punish the nation that enslaves them, God told him. And afterwards, my people will return to this land of Israel and worship me here. So, what he's saying here is that this is what God said. So obviously, this is Old Testament because this is Abraham after Isaac, and I'm sorry, I do have to take a little bit of a break. I will see you in a bit. All right, so I apologize. I have been interrupted by my own father, who just does not understand the concept of um, live streaming or anything. And then I open up the door and I say, "What, dude?" And he's like, "Don't act like I'm inconveniencing you," even though he is. But anyway, I'm gonna end it there. But so starting from no, okay. I do only have 20 minutes though, so I mean it's gonna be a while until I upload again because he is not very happy with me. Anyway, so yeah, this was Old Testament. This was Abraham. This was what he was told by God that his descendants would be enslaved and for 400 years, and that God would punish the nation. And that's what happened in Exodus was that they were thrown into slavery, and then so that happened, and since it was Egypt that enslaved them, God said, "I'm going to release 10 plagues in Egypt." Sure, a lot of people have heard this, but yeah, that's what was going on. Verse 8, starting on verse 8. God also gave Abraham the ceremony of circumcision at that time as evidence of the covenant between God and the people of Abraham. And so Isaac, Abraham's son, was circumcised when he was 8 days old. Isaac became the father of Jacob. Jacob was the father of the 12 patriarchs of the Jewish nation. These men were very jealous of Joseph and sold him to be a slave in Egypt. But God was with him and delivered him out of all of out of all of his anguish, and gave him favor before the Pharaoh, king of Egypt. God also gave Joseph unusual wisdom, so that Pharaoh appointed him governor over all of Egypt. Blah blah blah. So yeah, that is Acts chapter 7, verse 1 through 11, I think. No, verse 1 through 10. I'm not going to end it here, but let's talk more into the political side. And this was just Old Testament. This was, persecution for being a part of God's people. Not exactly by God, but by Egypt. And it was God that warned him, like, hey, this is going to happen. So what we see now, we've obviously seen Charlie be martyred for his faith. Trump wasn't really martyred he wasn't martyred because he wasn't killed. And he wasn't shot because of his religious beliefs. He was shot because of his political beliefs. Does it make it right? No. And so I find that a lot of people don't just persecute Christians, they persecute conservatives. I mean, how many headlines in the past year have we seen of school shootings? And it was like, what, 3? And so, yeah, there's 3 of them last year. And I